If you just joined us, you might want a block or a large book. Otherwise, you'll be fine. And if you don't have that, that's okay. We're going to start on your back, please. So come to your back. Bring your feet to the mat. Let your knees fall together. And take some big breaths in and out. And let yourself be held by the weight of the earth, which doesn't really make any sense. Be held by gravity. Let's say that instead. And take a big breath in. And a long breath out. And breathe all the way up. And all the way out. And together, let's take the deepest breath we've taken all day. Fill everything up. Belly, ribs, chest, even the back body fills with air. And now part your lips and sigh it out. One more time like that, maybe an even deeper breath. Everything fills all the way up, 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 up. Hold it. And sigh it out. And from here, just take some gentle windshield wipers back and forth with your knees. And you're welcome to keep your eyes closed if they were closed before. For the next series of postures, we'll stay on our back. Just begin to take note of how your hips feel, of how the rest of your body feels, of how your mind feels, how you feel. And then eventually, windshield wiper yourself into stillness and walk your feet a little bit closer together, a little bit more like inner hip width distance apart. And then walk your heels closer towards your sitting bones. And inhale, raise your right leg towards the sky. And on your exhale, cross your right shin over your left thigh for a figure 4 stretch. And here, take your right hand to your right inner thigh and push the thigh away from you. And just actively find some buoyancy to that. So pushing the thigh away and then kind of releasing that push and then pushing the thigh away. So it's just barely a movement. The right knee starts to move forward. And just kind of telling our body that we're going to be working in that area today. And take an inhale. And then push on the exhale and then hold that position for a moment. And slowly let go of the hand. Right leg rises to the sky. Inhale. And exhale, place the right foot down. And switch sides. Inhale your left leg up. And then exhale, take that figure 4, shin across the thigh. Maybe this side feels different. Mine certainly does. It feels lots tighter. Bring your left hand to your left inner thigh and start to push your thigh away from you. And clamp your knee closed here, which means kind of tightening the tendons that surround the outside edges of the knee, almost like you were trying to crush something under the knee. It kind of protects the knee a little bit. Just trying to make those connective tissues a little bit more taut around the knee. And find that buoyancy if you haven't already, just pushing and then releasing. Breathe in. And on your exhale, push and hold that position. And we're going to work this leg behind the head So go there now. I'm just kidding. There's a bunch of new people in my class, so I'm going to mess with you. Many people have heard that joke like probably 100 times at least. For the new people, it's brand new, so you can laugh. And for the old people that have, well, I guess not the old people, but the people who have heard the joke is what I mean, then never mind. Just hold this position. The new people, you are in for a wild ride. Release your hand down to the ground. Inhale, left leg rises. And exhale, place your foot down. And come up to a seat. And for a moment, find the center of your mat. And bring your feet together. Let your knees fall open, but your feet aren't very close to your pelvis here. They're more of a diamond shape, so they're pretty far. So for me, it's almost like 2.5 feet away from me. We're going to target the outside of the hips instead of the inside of the hips. And then grab your ankles with your hands and pull your chest up towards the sky. And that should roll your sitting bones behind you and your hip creases more forward. Take an inhale. And then on your exhale, fold in between your legs. As much as feels possible. We're just getting started, so you don't have to come back into your deepest position. We'll come back to this pose in a moment. If you don't feel it in your outer hips, you might need to work your feet a little bit more farther in front of you. And you can kind of rock back and forth. And if you want to intensify this, think about pulling your sitting bones farther back towards the back of the mat and your chest more towards your feet. Take a breath in and a slow breath out. One more inhale and one more exhale. Inhale, slowly come up. And for a moment of transition, make yourself or find yourself to downward facing dog, please. Place your hands forward, send your hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And pushing into the ground. We'll just here for a moment, but you're welcome to start to pedal your knees out if you like. You can take some side stretches, sending the heels to the right or left. And just kind of being curious about the sensations you might find here. And then find some stillness. I'm worrying less about what the pose looks like or really what is happening right now. I invite you to tune more into the deeper sensations, the subtler, more provocative sensations, the ones that pull you away from the present moment, the ones that stimulate additional thought, the ones that create secondary emotion. And invite those to just travel in and out today without reaching or clinging to them. Let yourself gift yourself the amazing thing of being present and letting go of anything that's not happening right now. And start to walk your hands back towards your feet. And so you'll be in a forward fold at the back of your mat, Uttanasana. And just hang there for a moment. Inhale, lift your spine up halfway, reaching your sternum towards the front of your mat. And then exhale, fold back down. And 2 more times like that. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, fold back down. And last time, inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold. Everyone bends the knees. Make your head, arms, and spine heavy. And take 4 or 5 breaths to stack your vertebrae, articulating your spine to roll up to stand. So take a while. Don't rush yourself. Again, giving yourself the gift of being a little bit slow in your movements, more intentional. When you make your way up to stand, bring your hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra. And if it feels safe in this moment, I invite you to close your eyes. And start to think of all of the things that we reach for, all of the things that we cling to, all of the things that remove us from the moment. There's a tenet, one of the niyamas in yoga called a parigraha, and it essentially means non-attachment or letting go. It's actually one of the yamas, not the niyamas. And not creating a sense of clinging. And we do this all the time. It's natural. We're people of the world. We have stuff to get done. But it's a good thing to think about. It's a good practice to do. And take a big breath in. And sigh it out. Okay, a couple of rounds of half sun salutations. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. Bend your knees, exhale, fold all the way forward, hands touch the ground. And inhale, lengthen your spine, lift your sitting bones up. And exhale, fold back down, heart towards your knees. Inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale your hands back to heart center. And again, inhale, sweep your arms out, up, look up. And exhale, fold all the way down, touch the ground. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Tone your belly, breathe in, bring it up. And exhale, Samastitihi, hands to heart center. Maybe keep your eyes closed for the last two. Inhale, reach up. Just start to notice movement in space. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, bring it up. Hands to heart. One more time. Inhale, reach. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center, and then just pause there for a moment. Just notice the absence of movement. I invite you, especially in super stretch, I really like to teach it more introspectively, to start to notice the sensations, notice the things that are going on in your body, because one, we have the time to, but also because the type of particular body work that we do, or specificity, I should say, allows for that. It points you in a certain direction of your body. So start to pay attention to it, start to tune into it. And let those sensations guide you into the deeper landscape. Blink your eyes open. And come into the center of your mat, please. And look at your left foot and turn it out at about, 30 or so degrees. Yeah? And then bring your right heel to the inner arch of your left foot. So this will kind of point your sitting bones towards the upper left corner of your mat. And bring your hands to your hips. Keep your left foot grounded, but step your right foot almost all the way towards the front of your mat. Now, turn your left hip forward, and if that's difficult to do, you may have to turn your left big toe in some. There you go. Nice, everybody. Firm your tailbone in. And inhale, reach your heart up. And exhale, slowly start to fold over your right thigh. Your hands can grab your shin with a slight bend to the knee. This is a great place for the block or the large book that I talked about before, or your fingertips or hands can come to the ground. And so this is pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. And here, really think about gripping the mat strongly with your toes and lifting your right sitting bone back and up, turning your left hip point forward and reaching your sternum towards your foot. And take a breath in. And a slow breath out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Now, if you do have a prop, a block, a book, it would be helpful to bring under your left hand at this point. Otherwise, I invite you to come to just the fingertips, or if you're holding your shin, just maintain holding your shin. And bring your right hand to your right hip and start to pull your right hip back actively with the hand. That should spiral your left hip a little bit more forward, but it'll make it harder to ground your left heel. So go ahead and ground your left heel down. Now reach your chest and sternum forward. Keep your hand on your hip, but start to twist open to the right, turning your right ribs up towards the sky. Now really, to find the stretch in the outside of the hip, pull your right hip back in space. Now you can stay here in this type of twist, or if it feels appropriate for you, you're welcome to reach your right arm up to the sky, Parvrita Trikonasana. This is a pretty intense pose for the beginning of class, or the third of the class, whatever it is. But really focus on pulling right hip back, left hip forward, and reaching up through your arm and reaching forward through the crown of your head. Now tone your right kneecap up and twist your outer left thigh forward. Breathe in. Push the left hand down more. Breathe out. One more inhale. And exhale, slowly drop your right hand. And inhale, lift up halfway. And tone your belly and come up the rest of the way. Bring your hands to your hips. I like to call this attitude asana whenever I do this, and you're welcome to like channel your inner attitude. You can like wave a finger or pop a hip out if you like. I kind of like that. Bend into your right knee and then step your right foot into the center of your mat again. Now turn your right toes out at about 30 degrees and bring your left foot to the arch of your right foot. There you go. Now step your left foot almost to the top of your mat. Hands to your hips. Square them off totally to the front of the mat. This is a short stance. So if you have to shorten your stance to square your hips, then that's great. Wonderful. Now firm your tailbone in, lift your sternum up, take a breath in. And then your exhale, slowly start to fold over your left thigh. And again, you can place your hands on your shin and just hold it there. You can reach them down towards the ankle if that feels good. Fingertips can come to the ground, or you're welcome to use a prop. And take some big breaths in and out. And think about pushing your left big toe down and toning your left kneecap up, and let that help you pull your left hip back more. And twisting your right inner thigh back, pushing down through the outer edge of your right foot and reaching your heart towards your left foot. Take a breath in. Maybe fold a little bit more on the exhale. Now inhale, lift up halfway. The prop will now come under your right hand, or tense your fingertips up if they're on the ground, or bring your right hand to your ankle or your shin. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Pause there and focus first on growing long through the left side. So pull your left hip back actively as you reach your left armpit more towards the front of the mat. Great, everybody. Now start to open your left ribs up towards the sky, and maybe stay there, or if it feels good, you can start to reach your left hand up. Find lots of length so the chest is still reaching forward at the same time as it's turning up towards the sky. And here, if you want more sensation, you're welcome to squeeze your heels strongly towards one another, but don't let that hyperextend your front knee. Keep a little bit of a buoyancy there. And take a breath in. Stretch more on the exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly melt the hand down. And inhale, lift up halfway. Tone your belly. And exhale, come up the rest of the way. Attitude pyramid pose. Pyramid's got attitude. Have a bend to your left knee and step it into the center of your mat. And then point all 10 toes forward and just bend into your knees. Shake them out a little bit. Great, everybody. Everyone come to the top of your mat now, please. We will be coming into a knee down position, so if you need support for your knee, you're welcome to place that on a mat. It can be anything. You're also welcome to fold your mat in half. I will often do that. And bring your hands to your hips, find attitude asana, and then channel some attitude. You know, just like, I don't know, what do you want to get an attitude about? You know, maybe that's not a good thing to talk about in yoga and bring your attention to it. I just talked about non-attachment, right? Whatever, step your right leg back and lower the knee to the ground. That's great. Now, from here, just for a moment, reach your arms up, lift your chest up. Take an inhale in Anjaneyasana. And from here, start to toe heel your left foot over towards the left of your mat, just maybe about a foot, not even. And then lift your chest up more and sink your hips down. So you're a little bit uneven here, and that's okay. Take a breath in. And from there, keep the depth of your hips. On your exhale, bring your hands to the inside of your left foot. So a knee down lizard lunge a little bit here. Now, if you're not feeling any sensation, start to spider crawl your left foot forward towards the front of your mat. Don't let the knee fall open for this variation. Squeeze the knee in. We will be coming into the knee open variation later. And take a breath in here. Sink your hips down and forward. Lift your chest up on the breath out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Now from here, keeping your foot where it is, start to straighten into your left leg. And flex the left foot. And you might notice the sensation in your hamstrings. You're welcome to walk your hands back if that feels appropriate. I like to reach mine forward. It gives me a little bit different of a stretch. Now look at your left toes. With your hip and your knee and your ankle, turn your left toes out to the left and have a slight bend to your knee. You might feel that a little bit more in the outer hip. Now we're going to create some buoyancy here. So start to reach forward and come forward with your hips bending into the knee. And then go right back into that straight-legged position. Yep, and then come forward, sinking in. And then slowly come back. And take that 2 more times. Coming forward, letting the knee open. Slowly coming back. 1 more. And slowly coming back. And turn all of those toes up towards the sky. And bend back into your knee, so you're now back into a lizard lunge. Lift your chest up again. And take an inhale. And stay for the exhale. And start to toe heel your left foot to the center of your mat. And now straighten your left leg from there. So Ardha Hanumanasana, you can walk your fingertips back. Now we're not staying here. Reach your chest forward. Find more length through the left side of your body by pulling your left hip back. Anything that's making contact with the ground, push it down. So this includes your right shin, your right foot, but particularly your left heel. This will activate your hamstrings a little bit more. Now, spider crawl your right hand so that it's underneath your right shoulder. Push into the ground. This should lift your chest. Bring your left hand to your left hip, pull it back, and start to twist open just like we did. Now you have the option to stay there, or again, you can reach your left arm up. You can experiment with what it feels like to start to turn your left toes out to the left. And this will be a very subtle movement, but it will kind of transition the stretch from the outside of the thigh more towards the back of the thigh. Take a breath in and stay for the exhale. 1 more inhale. And exhale, drop your hand. And lunge into your front knee. And tuck your back toes, lift the knee. And step forward to a forward fold. And inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold. Maybe you notice a difference between right and left side. I certainly do. Tone your belly, breathe in, reach to the sky. And on your exhale, hands to hips, attitude asana. Channel that inner attitude. I usually don't have to channel it. It's usually just right on the surface waiting to come out. I don't know about anybody else. So step your left leg back, lunge. Now lower your knee towards the ground. Great. And just for a moment, reach your arms up, Anjaneyasana. Breathe in, lift the chest. And from here, start to toe heel your right foot out to the right, 6 to 8 inches. There you go. Now inhale, lift up, sink your hips forward. And exhale, hands to the inside of your right foot for this lizard lunge variation. And if you don't feel it as much in the outer hip, then you can start to toe heel your right foot forward. And lift your chest up. And take a breath in. And stay for the exhale. On the inhale, start to straighten into your right leg. And flex the foot. And again, you can walk your hands back if that feels more supportive, or you can reach them forward if you'd like to deepen into this stretch. Anything making contact with the ground, drive it down. This will activate your hamstrings a little bit. Make sure to tone your right kneecap and tone your low belly. And take an inhale. And on your exhale, look at your right toes and turn them out to the right so that you're more on the knife edge of your right foot. And from here, start to bend into the knee. And then come back, keeping that knife edge of the foot on the ground. And again, bend in, reach your chest forward when you do that. And then slowly come back. And 2 more. Last one. That's great. And hold it there for a moment. And turn your toes up towards the sky. And take a breath in. And exhale, lunge back into your right knee, back into that lizard lunge. Chest lifts, belly tones. And hold it for a moment. And then slowly toe heel your right foot more towards the center of your mat. And take an inhale to lift the chest. And on your exhale, start to shift back, straightening into the right leg. And pause there. I like to walk my hands back for a moment just to kind of find the position of my hips that feels strong for me. I prefer to stack my left hip on top of my left knee. So you might want to experiment with where you feel the best. And then bring your left hand under your left shoulder. Flex your right toes strongly. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Now pause. Again, anything making contact with the ground, push it down. Don't let the knee hyperextend. Tone your kneecap up. Pull your right hip back. Push your left hand into the ground. Let that help you open your chest out to the right, twisting your right ribs up towards the sky. Now you can stay there, or if you like, reach your right arm up. Take a breath in. And stay for the exhale. And if you like, you can start to experiment with what it's like again to turn the right toes out and then back up. Right toes out and then back up. It's barely a movement. My toes move maybe 4 or 5 inches. But you can start to feel the sensation on the outside of the hip often with that. And then find stillness. Breathe in. Stay for the exhale. One more inhale, lift. And the exhale, drop your right hand. Lunge into your right knee. Lift your left knee from the ground and step forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. And lift up halfway. And fold. And come all the way up, reach up. And bring your hands to heart center, attitude asana. Nice. Again, wave a finger maybe. Step back into the center of your mat. And turn to face the long edge of the mat. Reach your arms out long, palms down. And then separate your ankles as wide as your wrists are. So pretty wide. Great. Now, here's a trick. So I'm going to tell you to turn your right toes towards the front of your mat. But notice if you bring your right heel in to make that happen. So go ahead and try it. Turn your right toes to the front of your mat. What I do is I like to actually bring my right heel in closer. It's a natural way to do it. We're going to try to do it a different way. So lift your right toes up and then turn your foot towards the front of your mat. This will create a longer stance. It'll create the same stance that you were just in. Now keep your right leg straight and start to peel the back edge of your left foot down. And lift up out of your pelvis with your chest. Take an inhale and tone your right kneecap up. And on your exhale, start to reach forward, reach forward, reach forward. Your right hand can land on your shin or a block or the ground. Your left arm reaches to the sky for Trikonasana, triangle pose. And from here, start to finish. The pinky toe side edges of your feet peel down. The heels squeeze towards one another. Right kneecap tones up and right inner thigh twists forward. Left outer thigh peels up almost as the left thigh we're going to peel off the mat. Tailbone lengthens towards your back heel. Right ribs scoop under, left ribs scoop up. Grow along through your spine and reach through your arms. Breathe in. And see if you've lost any of that activation on the breath out. Inhale, slowly bring it back up. And exhale, turn your right toes towards the long edge of your mat. Now, try to do the same thing with your left toes. Lift your left toes up again. And using your heel, spiral your left foot towards the back of your mat. Great, everybody. Now, I like to turn my back toes in just slightly. It helps align my pelvis a little bit better. But find a position where your legs feel strong. Tone your kneecap up. Start to shift your left hip under the right. Reach forward, reach forward, reach forward. And then place your left hand on the shin, a block, or the ground, or a book, or a small child, whatever you have near you.
Squeeze your hands together, outer edges of your feet down. And tone your left kneecap up and engage your right outer hip. And firm your
tailbone in and back. Reach your chest up, but also forward. Breathe in. And stay for your exhale. Keep toning that kneecap up if you lost it. One more inhale. Stay here, exhale. Use your belly. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, turn all 10 toes to the long edge of your mat. And bring your hands to hips. And step or hop your feet together. Tadasana, middle of your mat. Great. Come back to the top of your mat, please. We're gonna do something like super dancey. I'm gonna mirror you, but it really stretches the outside of the hip. I kind of like it. So some of you have probably done this in class with me before. Right foot points forward. And so point your right foot forward. And then bring it out and come all the way around your left leg and bring the top of your right toes to the ground. So kind of like this ballerina stretch, right? And then turn your right hip forward towards your computer or towards the front of your mat or whatever you're facing. This will cinch your thighs together pretty instantaneously. And bring your left hand to your left hip and reach your right arm towards the sky. Now from right hip point to right armpit, get longer there. So arm starts to reach up, reach up, reach up. Now with your left hand, push your hips over to the right and start to side bend to the left. Anything making contact with the ground, push it down. So top of right foot, lift the inner left ankle. Engage your left kneecap up. And tone your right hip forward. Grow long through your right side body, keep reaching. And lift your sternum up. Breathe. Take an inhale. And stay for your exhale. And inhale, slowly come up. And exhale, bring the foot around. And again, just paddle the knees out and notice if one side feels different than the other. And watch the sensation leave. And point your left toes. And swing the leg all the way around. Bring the top of the foot to the ground. Then tone your left hip forward. That's it. And bring your right hand to your right outer hip so that you can channel so much attitude here. You can get your inner diva on. I do when I do this. I do this alone in my house dancing. And I'm just like, I am just this ballerina from that movie Center Stage from the 90s. Now reach your left arm up. Does anybody remember that? We were talking about it in one of my classes the other day, which probably shouldn't happen. Reach your left armpit towards the sky as much as you can. And take an inhale. And on your exhale, shift your hips over to the left and reach over to the right as long as you can. Really focus on pushing your left foot down into the ground, toning your left hip forward and reaching your left armpit over. Breathe in. Stay for the exhale. Think about left ribs pulling up towards where you would have crown molding, or maybe you do have crown molding there. Inhale, slowly come up. And exhale, swing it around, feet meet, shake your knees out. Nicely done, nicely done. All right, top of your mat again, please. We're gonna do crisscross applesauce again. And bring your left foot around the right and bring your pinky toes to meet, if that's possible. And then try to squeeze your outside ankles as close together as you can. This would probably bring your shins in front of one another. And from here, have a slight bend to your knees. Very carefully, start to round over your legs. And hands will touch the prop that you have or the ground, fingertips. And start to fold over that thigh. And if you want to intensify this, you can start to walk your hands over to the right. And take a breath in. And stay for the exhale. Breathe in. If your hands are over to the right, walk them back to center for the exhale. Have a slight bend to your knees. Come up to stand. And then take that left foot and just swing it in front of the right. Again, pinky toes meet. And try to bring your ankles as close together as you can. I have to kind of move the flesh of my calves away to kind of get that position. It feels awkward at first. Have a bend to your knee and slowly start to fold over the thighs. Maybe this side is easier or more challenging for you. Maybe you have no idea. Maybe you're just like, what is this this is not a yoga pose in BKS Iyengar's Light on Yoga. You are varying from tradition and that's true. So there you have it. If you like, you can start to walk your hands over to the left. Super stretch often will include a lot of movement that might be different than just yoga. The therapy balls are something that I miss. Try to keep peeling the inner edge of both ankles down. And tendency is for them to lift. Don't let them lift. Take an inhale. Stay for your exhale. One more breath in. And walk your hands to center if they were over. Have a slight bend to your knees and come up to stand. Uncross your legs and shake your hips out. So this is where we start to put the legs behind the head. So you're going to need a prop, a leg behind the head stool. They're sold on our website. So if you did not purchase that, you can go there now. That's a joke. Come to a seat, please. All right, we got a couple more things that are a little bit different. So bring your left shin across the mat in front of you, almost like you were going into a pigeon pose, but it will be parallel to the short edge of your mat. And then take your right leg and bring it to this 90-degree angle so that you're kind of have the knee bent. Your right foot will be in line with your right knee. Your right knee will be in line with your right hip. So kind of create this 90 and 90 position. And then tense your fingertips up on the ground, lift your hips up, and try to move your left hip a little bit more to the left, and then sit back down. There you go. Nice, everybody. Now, at first, spider crawl your fingertips forward so that you lean forward a little bit. What's really important in the next series of poses is that you drive your shin down into the ground. So start to drive your shin into the ground and notice what that feels like. It'll start to activate your outer hip, and that's the whole point. What we're going to do is create eccentric lengthening of our outside of our hips. It's one of the quickest ways to gain access to greater ranges of motion. So start to drive your shin down. Take an inhale and lift your chest up. Keep driving your shin down as you start to lean forward. Drive your shin down, drive your shin down, drive your shin down, and then come back up. Now, that's the motion. If you want to make this more challenging, you can do it with no hands, with the arms out. If you want to make it even more challenging, you can bring the load more to the center and interlace the hands behind your head. If you want to make it even more challenging, you can reach your arms up. Now, I'm going to choose this variation. You choose whatever variation. I promise you, you're going to feel it, though. This is deceiving. Now, lift your chest up. Try to tone your right hip more forward. And drive your left shin into the ground. Really drive it down. Lift your chest up. Take an inhale. Keep driving it down and start to lean, lean, lean. Don't let anything touch the ground. Lean, lean, lean. Drive it down, come back up. And same thing, keep driving the shin down. Don't let that activation release. Drive it down, lean, 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 and come back up. And again, drive it down, drive it down. It's harder than you think. Don't let your back foot lift either. Lean, 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 come back up. You have 3 more of these. Drive it down, keep leaning, leaning, keep your belly tone, and then come back up. 2 more, it's getting harder. Drive it down, lean, lean. Such nice music in the background for this. And then lift up. This is your last one, but we're gonna hold the heart hovering over the thigh. So lean, lean, keep driving the shin down, drive the shin down, hover, 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 and release into the fold. Slowly fold. Whew. And take a breath in. And the breath out. And inhale, start to come back up. And try to do this with no hands. Look at your left knee and lift it up from the ground. And then look at your right knee and lift it up from the ground. And then try to come all the way to face the long edge of your mat with your knees wide. And then slide your left leg straight. And then slide your right leg straight. So now you're in a wide-legged straddle position. And now adjust your hips with your hands. Pull the flesh of your glutes away from your sitting bones and pull your hamstrings out to the sides as well. And flex your feet a lot. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, start to spider crawl your fingertips towards your left shin. And then twist your body towards your left leg. Inhale, lift your chest up. And exhale, fold over your left thigh. Don't let your right inner thigh roll forward. Keep trying to turn the right toes towards the sky. Now slowly come back up. And frame your opposite leg. And twist towards the shin. And make your left hip heavy. Lift your chest up. And fold over the right thigh. And keep trying to turn the left ribs down and reach your sternum forward. You've got it. Legs are super active. Try to push the backs of the legs down. Take a breath in. And fold on the exhale. And inhale, slowly come back up. And try to do this again with no hands. We're going to end up facing the back of the mat. So bend into your left knee, and then bend into your right knee. And then see if you can twist all the way and find that same 90 and 90 position facing the opposite direction. Now I'm going to turn to face the camera so I can actually see all of you. But adjust your stance as much as you need to. Your right shin should be in front. Your left knee should be in line with left hip, left ankle in line with left knee. So that create that 90-degree angle position. Then lift up your hips and send your right hip more to the right and then sit it back down. That's it. Now first we'll do this again with our hands grounded. So start to spider crawl your fingertips forward a little bit. Lift your chest up. Drive your right shin down. Take an inhale. And exhale, start to lean forward and keep driving the shin down. That activation does not stop. Come back up, nice and slow. Now again, you can take any variation you like. You can keep your hands grounded. You can reach them out to the sides. You can interlace your hands behind your neck. Or if you're feeling uber frisky, arms reach up. Breathe in, lift your chest. And breathe out, start to lean forward. That shin drives down, 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 down. Inhale, come back up. Keep driving your shin down. And slow lean forward. Inhale, bring it back up. That activation keeps happening. Slowly lean forward. You have 3 more. Inhale, bring it back up. And exhale, slow lean. Inhale up. Exhale, slow lean. Inhale up. This time we hover, drive the shin down, slowly come forward, hover your heart right over your shin. Hold for 3. You've got it, hold for 2. And on 1, slowly fold over the shin, drop your hands. Get soft. Maybe bring more awareness to what it is that you have been reaching towards. For me, I've been reaching towards certainty. I'm probably not alone. But I want some sort of answer, and I'll search for that answer by asking questions repetitively to the same people, and then if I don't find that certainty, I will then move on to a different person and ask them the same set of questions. And this is just me reaching for something that is not available right now. The sense of certainty, the sensation of being assured has left me for a while. And that's okay. Instead of clinging to it, letting it go, letting uncertainty, almost like inviting it into uncertainty into my house, slowly come up. Now, same thing, no hands. Look at your right knee, lift it up. Look at your left knee, lift it up. Slowly come back to that wide-legged straddle position. Long edge of your mat, that's it. Everybody looks great. All right, so take a little bit of different variation now. Reach your arm, your right arm to your left hip. And then reach your left arm up. And stretch up through your left arm as much as you can. And start to spiral your left ribs back. And start to side bend as much as you can towards your right foot. And it's less about touching the foot than it is about stretching your ribs up. So this is a big side body stretch. We're going to change this a little bit. Start to turn your left toes in as much as you can. Yeah, almost like you're trying to get the inner ankle to touch the ground. And then side bend more. Now keep the length in your side bend. Turn your toes back up towards the sky. And slowly come back up, reach up. And switch sides. And grab your right thigh with your left hand. Reach up through your right arm. And start to side bend towards your left foot. And side bend, side bend, side bend until it feels like you can't side bend anymore. And then turn your right toes in some. This will help shift your side bend a little bit deeper. And then try to maintain that depth and turn your toes back up. Breathe in. Breathe out. So your glute max inserts into your lumbar dorsal fascia, which is this big set of connective tissue in your low back. And so in order to stretch the glute max, you also have to stretch some of that as well, which is what we're doing. And inhale, come all the way back up. Now from here, you're going into your press handstand. So bring your hands down and kick your legs up without having to come to standing. I'll watch and give some alignment cues. Go. I'm just kidding. Slowly come forward. Again, lots of new people I get to take advantage of. These Becca and Nicolette and Sarah, they're like, oh my God, this is the same stuff over and over again. Find downward facing dog. That's what I should be doing in the quarantine times. I should be writing new material. Gosh, if you come back here and I'm just saying the same stuff, you're gonna be like, what did you do with all your time? Just created the best local virtual platform ever, that's all. No big deal. MBG or D. Lower your knees to the ground. Find tabletop position. And inhale, lengthen your right leg back. And then cross it over to the side so that it crosses over your left shin, and then bring your right toes to the ground. Now push into the ground with your hands, push back through your heel, and then side bend over to the left. So pull your right shoulder more forward and then more towards the left, stretching that whole side of your body. Now keep this position, listen carefully. Bend your right knee so that it comes to the ground. And then swing your left ankle more towards the right. And then walk your hips back so that you're seated in Gomukhasana. Your knees may stack. If this is uncomfortable on your knees, then I suggest straightening your right leg forward in space and just stacking the knees this way. Or you're welcome to sit up on any type of padding. You can fold your mat in half again if you have a blanket or something, and go for that. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, let your right hand fall and reach up through your left arm and then side bend over to the right. Really root down your hips. And inhale, come back up. Exhale, switch sides, side bend to other side. And inhale up. And exhale, fold over your thighs as much as feels comfortable. If your hands do come to the ground, push them into the ground to send your hip creases more towards the back of your mat. And then clamp your knees closed and then towards one another. So get those tendons around the outsides of the knees to activate. And then squeeze the knees towards one another. Squeeze your outside ankles down into the ground. Breathe in. Stay there, breathe out. And inhale, come up. And then crawl forward, back to tabletop position. And lengthen your left leg back. And then cross it over, place the toes to the ground. Push your hands into the ground, start to side bend right. Get long through the chest. And drive your left heel back. Now bend the left knee. And swing. Bring the shin to the ground, swing your right ankle out, walk your hands back, and sit and Gomukhasana. And again, taking the variation that makes most sense for you. And inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, let your left hand fall first this time. Reach up and then over. Inhale, back up. Another side. First reach up and then reach over. Inhale up. And exhale, fold over the legs. Again, squeezing the knees towards one another, pushing your hands into the ground. And find this sense of the muscles letting go of gripping. There's this tension that happens when you first enter a stretch. It's the biological response, the neuromuscular response to the stretch reflex. We can use that as a metaphor to the things that we cling to, this me clinging to certainty lately. Not being able to just say, things are uncertain currently. Take a breath in. And fold a little bit more on the exhale. And inhale slowly, lift your chest. And lean back this time. Hands touch the ground, uncross your legs. And just windshield wiper your knees back and forth for a moment. And I promise we'd come back into this. Find that diamond shape again. So sitting on your sitting bones, pulling the flesh of your glutes away, bringing your feet together, more diamond shape. And grab your ankles again. And inhale, lift your chest up. And then exhale, start to fold to the insides of your legs. And the more you reach your chest towards your feet, the more you roll your sitting bones back, the deeper the stretch will go. And you choose where you want to go. Your body knows. And take a moment to notice if anything's changed here. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more inhale. One more exhale. And slowly come up. And capture your knees with your hands. Close your knees like a book. Bring your hands behind you. Scoot your hips forward. And then come down to your back, please. And here, bring your feet slightly wider than your hips and take gentle windshield wipers back and forth. You can make them big or small, whatever feels right. Notice your hips again. Notice your body. Notice the state of your mind. Eventually finding stillness in your legs. And slide your right leg forward and flat on the ground, and then the left leg forward and flat on the ground. Maybe your arms reach out, palms face up, or any other comfortable position that would be restful for you for the next few moments. And once you find where you want to land for the next several minutes in Shavasana, maybe scan your body and notice where the muscles feel like they're still gripping, and see if you can command them to kind of melt off the bones. And to take that a step further, maybe notice where the mind is still reaching, gripping, and invite it to melt as well. Shavasana. This song you hear is the Anusara invocation, and it essentially is a offering of surrender. And with surrender, one of the verses, Nis prapanchaye shantaye, is within, it is never absent, and it is full of peace. You have access to that. This part of you that is never absent and is full of peace. Begin to deepen your breath and bring your body back to life. And to Take a big stretch. Eventually making your way up into a seated position. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra at heart center. And bow your chin to none other than yourself. And I invite you tonight to give that same offering of surrender, the offering of letting go, the gift that it is to not cling to something, so that you can tap into that which is never absent and is full of peace. Embrace it all, and I will struggle to embrace it all with you. It's not easy. You can't just say it and do it. So give yourself grace as well. Take a big breath in. And together, let's sigh it out. The light in me honors the very beautiful and unique light in each of you. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.